Inside this apricot factory, fresh fruit becomes thick jam, dried apricots, and juice. The process begins with ripe apricots that must be handled gently and quickly. One harvest can feed several product lines inside the same processing plant. Before processing, the factory must separate fruit flesh from pits and defects. The finished products look simple, but each depends on careful preparation. This is a realistic step-by-step look at how apricots move through production. Every step must protect color, flavor, texture, and final yield. Now let's follow the full process from fresh apricots to finished products.
The journey begins in apricot orchards, where ripeness determines factory quality.
Factories need fruit with the right firmness, sweetness, color, and aroma.
Apricots bruise easily, so gentle harvesting is important.
Early sorting removes fruit that is cracked, moldy, or too soft. Shallow crates protect the apricots from pressure damage during transport. From the orchard, the fruit moves quickly toward the factory. Transport time matters because ripe apricots soften quickly. At the factory, the receiving team prepares for fast unloading. At receiving, every batch is unloaded, weighed, and inspected. Weighing helps estimate yield for jam, drying, and juice production. Incoming inspection removes fruit that could damage product quality.
Sample cutting shows how the fruit will behave during processing.
Proved fruit moves carefully from crates onto the first conveyor.
Rejected fruit leaves the main line before washing begins.
This first area controls the quality and rhythm of the whole plant. Before any cutting, the fruit must be washed thoroughly. Washing removes orchard dust, leaves, and surface residue. The wash must clean the fruit without bruising the skin. Draining removes excess water before optical and manual sorting. Optical sorting helps classify fruit by color, size, and visible quality. Human inspection remains important because apricots are delicate.
Different fruit grades are directed toward different product lines.
Cleaning continues throughout production to keep the line stable. After washing and sorting, the apricots are ready for pitting. The next stage removes the hard pit from each apricot.
Proper alignment helps the machine remove pits cleanly.
The pit is removed while the orange flesh continues forward. The halves are inspected because broken pits can remain inside.
Manual checking prevents hard pit pieces from entering the product lines.
Once pitted, the fruit can move into separate production streams. Good-looking halves are often reserved for dried apricot production. Softer fruit remains valuable for pulp, jam, and juice. Pits and fruit flesh must stay separated throughout the plant. Pitting and halving create the prepared fruit base for the factory. The jam and juice lines begin by turning apricots into pulp. The machine breaks the fruit down while removing rough solids. The pulp becomes the base for jam, nectar, and fruit preparations. Screening improves texture before cooking or blending.
Pulp quality is checked before it enters the cooking tanks. Gentle mixing keeps the pulp from settling or separating.
From this point, the pulp divides into product-specific lines. Pulp preparation turns delicate apricots into a stable processing base. The first main product line cooks apricot pulp into thick jam. Slow heating evaporates water and concentrates the fruit flavor. Measured ingredients help control sweetness, texture, and consistency. Time and temperature determine the final thickness of the jam.
Samples are checked to see whether the jam has reached the right set.
Removing excess air helps the jam look smoother in the jar. Once cooked, the jam moves quickly toward hot filling. The jam line turns fresh apricot pulp into a thick, shelf-ready product. Clean jars are prepared before hot apricot jam filling begins. Each jar receives a precise amount of thick apricot jam.
Fill level and clean rims matter before capping.
Capping protects the jam and prepares it for cooling.
Cooling helps the jar stabilize after hot filling. Inspection checks whether every jar is sealed and filled correctly. Approved jam jars are packed for warehouse storage. The jar line completes the factory's thick apricot jam product.
The second product line turns selected apricot halves into dried fruit.
Even spacing helps the halves dry more consistently.
Drying removes moisture while preserving color and fruit texture.
The texture changes slowly as warm air removes water. Airflow and temperature control prevent uneven drying. Workers test texture because over-drying can make fruit too tough.
Cooling stabilizes the fruit before final sorting. Final sorting improves appearance and product consistency. Packaging protects dried fruit from air and moisture. Finished pouches are grouped for warehouse storage and shipment. Drying line creates a second product from the same apricot harvest. The third product line turns apricot pulp into juice or nectar.
Mixing creates a consistent color, flavor, and texture. Samples are checked before the drink reaches heat treatment.
Filtration controls texture and reduces unwanted solids. Pasteurization helps improve safety and shelf stability. After heating, the drink is cooled and prepared for bottling.
Clean bottles are prepared before filling begins.
Each bottle receives a precise amount of apricot drink.
Capping protects the drink immediately after filling.
Inspection checks fill height, cap position, and package weight.
Finished apricot juice bottles move toward packaging and storage.
Beverage line creates a third product from apricot pulp.
Quality inspection checks each apricot product in a different way. Jam samples are checked for thickness, color, texture, and set. Dried fruit needs the right moisture level for shelf life and eating quality.
Juice and nectar are checked for color, flow, and stability.
Package inspection protects fill accuracy and appearance. Rejected samples show why inspection matters at industrial scale. Batch records help trace products after they leave the factory.
Only approved products continue to final packing and storage.
Quality control connects the entire apricot factory.
Final packaging prepares every apricot product for storage and shipping. Jam jars are packed carefully to protect glass and seals. Dried fruit packaging protects texture and moisture level.
Juice bottles are packed for beverage distribution. Palletizing turns small packages into organized shipping units.
Wrapped pallets stay stable during warehouse movement and transport.
Warehouse tracking helps the factory locate each batch quickly.
Different products may require different storage conditions. Packaging turns apricot production into shipment-ready goods.
Distribution sends each apricot product into the right market channel.
Apricot jam moves through shelf-stable food distribution.
Dried apricots travel through snack and bakery ingredient channels. Apricot juice and nectar enter beverage supply chains.
From one orchard harvest, the factory sends several products to market.
One product reaches customers as thick apricot jam.
Another product reaches shelves as dried apricot fruit.
Third reaches customers as apricot juice or nectar.
The same fruit becomes several products because the factory separates each stream carefully. The final display shows how far one apricot harvest can travel.
The jam line depends on pulping, cooking, filling, and cooling.
Drying line depends on spacing, airflow, moisture control, and sorting.
The beverage line depends on blending, filtration, pasteurization, and filling.
Every final product starts with washing, sorting, pitting, and separating the fruit.
A realistic factory is not only production, it is also cleaning and control.
A well-designed factory keeps each product stream separate and organized.
Testing and inspection make the process reliable from batch to batch.
Value comes from practical processing, not from magical transformation.
This is how a real fruit factory connects orchard harvest with finished products. The finished goods look very different from the fruit that arrived earlier.
Small details in the fruit determine whether it becomes jam, dried fruit, or juice.
The jam product is judged by thickness, color, fill level, and cap quality.
The dried product depends on texture, moisture protection, and clean packaging.
Beverage product depends on smooth texture and stable filling. The full process shows how apricots become several useful products. Fresh apricots become jam, dried fruit, and juice through real factory steps.
A better factory video shows production, cleaning, testing, and control.
From a delicate fruit harvest, the factory creates sweet products for many markets. Each new batch begins with clean equipment and organized work areas.
Different products require different tests, but the same attention to detail.
Even pits and byproducts must be managed safely and efficiently.
From one fruit, the factory creates products for different customers and storage needs. Warehouse discipline protects the final product after processing is complete.
The journey from orchard to shelf depends on timing, hygiene, and factory discipline.
Every shipment carries the work of harvesting, processing, packing, and inspection.
This is how fresh apricots become thick jam, dried fruit, and juice.
The factory cycle continues with cleaning, checking, and preparing for the next harvest.
The thick jam is the most concentrated expression of the fruit.
The dried fruit preserves flavor by removing moisture slowly and evenly.
Beverage line turns delicate fruit pulp into a smooth drink.
Each line is different, but all begin with the same fresh apricots.
From orchard harvest to factory shelves, apricots travel through a carefully controlled process. Thank you for watching Mega Processing Tech. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment what factory we should explore next.